Salute. The streets are buzzing. New York Knicks roll into Vegas off a big quarterfinals NBA Cup victory in the 6. And our New York Knicks are in the semi-finals, fam, of Vegas NBA Cup action, defeating the Toronto Raptors, man, in Toronto, and moved to 17-7 on the season. It was a great performance. It was gritty, and our New York Knicks shot the ball well. The second quarter held the Raptors to only 13 points, man, off some lockdown defense. OG and Cat had 2 blocks each. Josh Hart filled it up with his hot shooting, and Jalen Brunson, man, was an assassin tonight. He was an absolute assassin in this playoff type atmosphere early in the game. But the New York Knicks, man, busted the game wide open in that second quarter. And I know RJ Barrett, no Emmanuel Quickley, would have loved to see those guys. And got to shout out the Toronto crowd because they were really into it early. But the Knicks just took the life out of them with incredible shot making. Mitchell Robinson's hustle was unbelievable as well, getting the Knicks second chance points. I thought Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Wingstop had a solid game, but it was really Hart, I think, and Brunson that delivered the knockout blows in this one, but it was a full team effort in this one. Shout out to everyone in the chat, fam. We have our poll. What was the most impressive thing tonight, fam? Hart shooting, Cats D, Block Party, or JB going nuclear? Al Tango, Johnny Chiba, Chris Gotti, Shez V. Shout out to everyone coming through. Michael Drake and Replay Squad. Hit that like button. We here. We have our chance to get revenge. Obviously, we face the Magic again now. And that is in Vegas now, where it'll be a level playing field. And it just had to be Orlando again. Right? We'll be ready. And obviously, no Franz Wagner. They're going to be up for that one, based on what happened in the last one. But look, our New York Knicks, man, they're so hot right now. 9-1 in the last 10, 17-7. Look, a gritty road win. You know, we needed that. This is what, our 4th or 5th win on the road. I think, yeah, we are like 4-6 now on the road. Obviously, we know how well we've been playing at home, but on the road is where, you know, you build that camaraderie, and obviously you got to learn to lock in because the playoffs, you know, are going to be big time on the road, and you know, getting these wins is really important. I thought Jalen Brunson just really set the tone early, but really pleased with Cat, you know, and his ability to, you know, deal with the foul trouble early. Got 2 quick fouls, and then Cat, I thought, adjusted, fam, and adjusted in a major way with that Statue of Liberty dunk. We're gonna show that, man, and some. Jose G, Prezi the Boss, Ursanification, salute. Great performance from Cat. Obviously, defensively is where, you know, a lot of fans want to see him make a mark. And the New York Knicks were 69-52 at the half, man, and their damage was done in that second quarter, holding the Raptors to just 13 points, man. They only had 8 points going into like the final minute of the second quarter, and it just goes to show when the Knicks really mean business and they want to lock in, this is the type of team that can make some big noise come postseason, man. Whether it be OKC, anyone out east, doesn't matter. We saw a different level of the Knicks lock in that second quarter. And look, like I said, no Quickley, no Barrett. Would have loved to see those guys. Toronto, they're very short-handed right now. They did get Jakob Poeltl back, but you know, match up against the Knicks, it's a tough matchup for them, fam. You know, Poeltl is not that physical as a big man, but Jamal Shed, you know, he's a tenacious defender, but he's undersized. Also got to, you know, point out no Deuce McBride tonight as well. So that's another level that the Knicks can get to, and especially if they can get back Landry Shamet real soon, fam. And this was the highlight play. One of Cat's best dunks, fam, in his career, in my opinion. He absolutely threw the hammer down on this one. Got bumped as well. And here's the real angle. Statue of Liberty. Absolutely took him off the dribble on the left. Man, so high. And threw it down. No chance of blocking that one. Fam, you love to see Cat. When he makes these plays, man, you stand up. And you're like, yeah, that's our all-NBA player right there, fam. Cat does cop a lot of heat. A lot of shade from rival fans. But some of y'all forget what Cat is capable of doing. And everyone should know by now what Jalen Brunson, man, is capable of doing, man. He's an assassin in the night. And he'll kill anyone in his way, right? Everyone, they always say, man, everyone better than Brunson until it's time to be better than Brunson. And no one can step up to his level. Fam, what do you have? 20 points in the first quarter. We saw Cat getting gritty with one of his 2 blocks as well. Scotty Barnes thought he could put the shoulder into Cat. Could not move him, fam. Cat took the knock and said, get out of here. Dikembe style. Michael Drake's buzzing. Y'all are all hype, right? Extra 100 grand for every single Knick on the roster. 2-way players, assistant coaches as well, fam. Happy holidays to them. But they gave us a good night. So, happy holidays to us. Fam, let's go. Johnny Chiba says, Knicks smash. Jose G says, Knicks had a block party tonight. Yeah, real disciplined stuff from Cat in that one. Here's another great angle of the OG Cat blocks. I don't know who got this one, but they both can share the block in that one, man. Grady Dick, what are you thinking, fam? Right. Grady Dick got cock blocked with that one, fam. Imagine if Clyde pulled that one out, man. It'd be crazy. Johnny Chiba says, we're taking Brunson's spectacular play for granted. Nuclear option in effect. He's just one of the best to ever do it, fam. So crafty, knows where to be with his footwork, can manipulate any individual defender. The only way you can stop Brunson is to bring the double, and try to trap him. And look, he did get a little sloppy. We did get a little sloppy in that third quarter, but it was comfortable, man. My blood pressure didn't really get up at all, really, tonight, despite that crazy court, fam, seeing all red. But we're going to be seeing all blue in Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. What happens in Vegas, hopefully going to come to New York with the trophy and extra 500 grand for these guys, right? So, obviously tomorrow, the 2 matchups out west, fam, and we're going to preview that tonight. We've got the Thunder Suns and the Lakers Spurs. And obviously, if we defeat the Magic, or when we defeat the Magic, and we'll talk about that on Saturday. I think that's going to be the matchup. Magic Knicks Saturday in Vegas. And then we'll face the winner out of the West to get through. Buzzer Beater says we're on to Vegas. Finally, fam, was it 3 bites at the cherry? 3 bites at the apple. And we're coming from the Big Apple. And we're going to Vegas, fam. Josh Hart's happy. He's going to get a chance to get his jewelry back after he was robbed. And we had the 2 demons on the call in this one, fam. Some of y'all may have watched on Amazon Prime. I watched on MSG tonight, fam. These guys were in fine form. Clyde and Breen bringing us home on the call. And as we relive all these highlights and chop it up, we're going to give out the game ball. And obviously look at the stats too, fam. There's Jalen Brunson, man. He was an assassin tonight. Look at his shot chart, fam. Nothing but makes, blue makes in the paint, mid-range, and he loves that elbow 3. Actually on both sides, fam. 6 makes from downtown and early, man. He was stepping into it with confidence, and he was fully loose, ready to go. And I do think, look, Jalen Brunson knew that Deuce was out, and we're going to lose some of the scoring that Deuce provides, and he really stepped it up. Was aggressive early, man. Breaking the ankles of Jacob Poeltl in this one. He rattled him, man, with that one. Johnny Chiba says, CT, I noticed at the end of the game when Brunson was doubled, he immediately passed out. And then another pass led to the open man. Yeah, great point. I think, Hart shooting it so well. We're going to take a look at the box score. The way Hart is shooting finishing 8 of 11, 4 of 7, man. That's beyond my wildest dreams, man. I would have taken just Josh Hart's shooting, his career average or whatever that is. But the way he's shooting right now, it's adding to the spacing. Not only is that, he's bringing the playmaking as well with 4 dimes, 2 steals, plus 13, fam. I could have given out a second game ball to Josh Hart. Want to give a big shout out once again to Cat as well. He was plus 20, 21 team high with 16 grown man rebounds, including 5 offensive bounds and the 2 blocks, just 1 turnover, and only finished with the 4 fouls, despite, starting the game in those 2 fouls early. And I ain't going to lie, I was shaking my head when Cat got that second foul, and I'm sure most of y'all too. Feeling like, look, Cat's just such a tantalizing talent, but he just seems to give the onus back to the other team when he gets those cheap fouls, fam. None of those cheap fouls. But look, the silver lining is Cat only played 30 minutes, fam. He was questionable heading into tonight, so he was dealing with some pain and was banged up. Only played 30 minutes, but what a performance. 16, 14, 2, and 1 on the night with a team high plus 21. It was absolutely, game-changing stuff, man, too. Chancellor says, man, I didn't know there was an MSG broadcast. I watched the Amazon instead. Yeah, look, I think Amazon been better than TNT so far, but yeah, I actually enjoyed the earlier game on Amazon, the Magic Heat, and the Magic came from behind, man. The Heat choke artists, Miami Heat, they blew a 20-point lead early, and the Magic came out of nowhere without Franz to get the win against them, fam. Great to see them. Norm Powell was beside himself, man. He's frustrated with the Heat. We are going to talk about a Giannis update as well later in tonight's stream. But right now, man, we're riding high. Give us your best takes. The New York Knicks are rolling. What's the most impressive thing that you are seeing? Like Johnny Chiba said, the Hart shooting's adding a major element. It's very hot in Vegas, so yeah, says Oliver. Salute. I think obviously the defense really stepped it up in this one, but our scoring is right there, and it's going to be tough to stop. Even when we face Orlando, without Franz, I think we've got their number 100%. Right? As Shams reported earlier today, there's 3 teams that will emerge for Giannis outside of the Knicks, and they are the Pistons, the Raptors, and the Hawks. So he is expecting some other teams to get aggressive. And look, the Raptors, they are struggling without RJ and without Quick, right? They're going to need some help, and I do expect they're going to get aggressive right now. But for most of us that want to, see this team stay pat, they're giving us great reasons to keep it that way right now. You are going to get Deuce back. You're going to get Shamit. You're going to be able to maybe make a smaller trade and maybe sign a buyout guy and add a 15th man in April as well. So plenty of room to make some upgrades. Prezi the boss is $106,187 to each member of the Knicks organization as well, man. They were really on it, man. They were hype. Hart really wants that. The younger kids want it as well. So good job by the NBA, I think, overall, man. Look, it's early stages with the in-season tournament. A lot of people don't really get behind it as much as, they could. But tonight counted for the regular season standings, right? So we moved to 17-7, right? So now we're going to play 2 extra games. I believe the semi-final also counts as a regular season game. It's only the final, which is an extra game. That's it. It's only 1 extra game, fam, that we're playing in Vegas that doesn't count for the standings. The semi-finals will count from the standings. Buzzerbeater says, yeah, we can appreciate that road win. New York City Grey says, can we appreciate the fact that the Knicks controlled the game with the quality road win? Definitely, man. Like I said, the crowd, got to give them a shout out. I knew that would be a factor. The Toronto crowd really does get behind it. And I thought, maybe last year's team would have kind of got a little bit rattled. So this is a good time to also, shout out the new version of the squad under Mike Brown, because I feel like last year's squad would have maybe got a little bit more rattled. Maybe it does help having an extra ball handler with Clarkson, Hart out there. Brunson catching fire obviously, kept them at bay and silenced that crowd. Man, Prezi says hopefully that dodgeball Bane won't show up. Man, he got to be careful. 35 grand fine, I think, as well. So we'll see how he wants to make amends for that, right? OG Anunoby, though, is back. He's a demon in their side. Yep, no Barrett, no Quickly. I spoke on that. That's a shame because I got respect for those guys and I want to see them healthy first and foremost. But I couldn't really care less in terms of tonight, right? You got to play what's in front of you, and the thing is, when the Knicks have injuries, any rival fan don't give us no allowances. So we've got to stop feeling sorry for any other team that has an injury, right? If a team knocks us off with Brunson out, they're going to say, "Oh, we beat the Knicks." So if a team beats us without Deuce McBride, they're not going to say, "Oh, the Knicks missing Deuce." It's just a matter of how the league operates. That's why you build a roster. And you don't got to go too heavy in terms of salary wise, because if a couple of guys are out taking up all your salary, it's going to be tough to compete, right? Quickly making 30 mil. RJ's on a reasonable contract, but like I said, I hope those guys can stay healthy, and make have a factor in this season. Who knows? The Raptors might make some noise in the playoffs. They can turn their attention to the rest of the season now and trying to get a top 4 seed. And if they can get some continuity with health, they could maybe knock off an Orlando or a Heat and do us a favor. I do think the Raptors are kind of a better matchup for the Knicks, fam. I would love to see them go up against Detroit or Orlando and give them some trouble, and hopefully open the coast for the Knicks pathway to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll bring you up to speed with the defensive player of tonight, and we'll continue to shout you guys out and take a look at tonight's stats too. Welcome in everyone that's new. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I will shout you guys out. And great to have you along with the ride. Karl Anthony Towns, man, big time performance with the 16 rebounds, and the New York Knicks won the rebounding. Points in the paint was quite even, but the second chance points, the Knicks got the edge too. Fast break points, the Raptors had the slight edge, but you see quarter by quarter, the New York Knicks were dominant. Truly, right after the second quarter began, had a 24-point lead, and the Raptors only led by 6, early. So it was, to be respectful, it was kind of light work. They didn't really make a dent into the lead, but obviously they are short-handed, and the Knicks just had to do what was necessary, take care of biz, fam. So 7 blocks was impressive. Buzzer beater, I wouldn't want CP3, fam. I've talked about it previously. You're hearing some stuff coming out of the Clippers camp. But yeah, CP3 can't really stay healthy, and I think we need some younger energy. Jose Alvarado would be a guy I'd look at. Javon Carter. Even if it's the cheapest possible deal, I don't think we need CP3 right now. Glenn Jones, salute. Knicks need to win something. It's been so long for us Cats playing D right now. Yeah, shout out to the coaching staff. They've really made some visible improvements on some guys. Look, outside of Mitchell Robinson's free throws, I mean, that is something that is still a thing. Hacker Mitch tonight. I thought we dealt with that well. Mitch split a couple of free throws, but then it really started to halt our momentum, and Mike Brown did the right thing and had to get, Mitchie out of the game in this one. But look, that's just a summer thing, I think, with Mitch. If I'm being honest, fam, You know, Mitch is a guy that needs to work on those free throws, you know, in the summer. It ain't just going to happen overnight, but it's been too long. You know, it's been a recurring theme. Uh, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy could be on the block, yeah, but their salaries are quite crazy. So I do think it's a case of probably a buyout guy or a Jose Alvarado type, somewhere around the 4 or 5 milli. I did mention Ao Desunmu. That's a name I really like too. He's only on 7 milli. Yabel Sele salary filler could make that work. But look, right now, Tyler Kolek is a major story still coming through. And I also want to continue to shout him out because I tweeted this out, but Kolek looked like he belonged. You know, it was a playoff type vibe. And look, plus 13 from Tyler. So he gave us what, a rebound, an assist, a steal, 2 points, plus 13 in just 17 minutes. Just 7 minutes as well. So right now he's filling that void. You know, he doesn't look out of place. He looks confident, keeping his dribble up. It ain't like Summer League. He's made a lot of strides since Summer League. Kolek doesn't look sped up. You know, and his court vision is elite as well. Where we need more out of is Yabel Sele. We need another wing defender or a power forward, I think, coming off our bench that can score. Yabel Sele finished with the donut tonight on a -4 as well. So look, patience is running thin with Yabel Sele. I've given him a lot of grace period, but yeah, my patience is definitely wearing thin. Let us know how you feel with Yabel Sele. I thought Clarkson, you know, we need his bench scoring right now. He's going to get his minutes, 26 tonight with Deuce out. But I really feel like a guy like Clarkson, he can give that momentum back to the other team sometimes, you know. He can give you that bolt of lightning, but then he can take it away. He reminds me very much of J.R. Smith, fam. You know, when he's hot, he's hot. But when he's not, fam, it's like, it's that LeBron meme, you know, what are you doing type thing. And I thought, you know, JC Clarkson got us into some tricky situations in this one. But look, ideally 26 minutes is too much. When Deuce gets back, you know, as we see Cat once again throw down the dunk of the season so far off the dribble. Yeah, how do y'all feel about Clarkson? The Clarkson, Kolek, Yabel Sele thing are the areas where I'm looking at potential bench improvements. But obviously when Deuce gets back, Mitchell Robinson, you know, they're elite off of our bench. If you had to ask me out of CP3 or Kolek, I'd be okay just keeping Kolek, you know, and let them get those opportunities. Yeah, we had a Kevin Mack sighting late in garbage time in the final minute as well, knocked down a 3-ball as well. So I think the Knicks did a great job bringing in the two-way players over to Toronto. Tosan was there, McCullough was there, and giving the team that extra vibe because the team knows that those guys getting an extra 100 grand, 200, 300, 500 grand is big for them, you know, and I think a lot of these veterans want to do it for those guys as well as get that. Well, I don't know if they get the ring, but they do get the trophy. Obviously, we get to hang that banner up if we can win that cup. But Vegas, we here now. It's really starting to sink in, fam. We have a chance to win, just 2 more games, and then we'll hang a banner, right? And bring some hardware back to New York City, right? For the first time in a long time, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all feel about that, really? Right, you might not really care about the NBA Cup because it's quite new, but as we have an update on the timing as well, let me bring that up, of our semi-final against the Magic, right? But look, the Knicks haven't really won a significant trophy, you know, obviously since the 70s, right? We've won a division, we've won conferences, but we ain't won a trophy, fam. That's what winners do, man. Winners win. It don't matter what it is, you know. You want to be competitive. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Amazon Prime this Saturday coming up, fam. We'll see you there. December 13, post game. We'll be live, breaking it all down. Hopefully the Knicks into the final. Shamit update, nothing as of yet. He's creeping under the radar, doing his rehab. I'm sure we'll find out something in the new year. But yeah, he won't be back until at least the later part of January, I think at the earliest, for Landry Shamit. Look, the trade period's going to pop off December 15. All the free agents will be trade eligible. So I do expect plenty of news and live streams from myself coming up, breaking it down, the latest news with Giannis and the league. I think who's going to be the first one to make a trade, right, during the trade season, right? The Knicks official account says we're not done dealing onto the semis. That's a nice graphic. I like it. New York City says Mitch was a better free throw shooter earlier in his career. Not sure what happened. Yeah, that is a great point because career, we saw the graphic today, 51% as a career on the season. He's at what, 17% now, 18%. That's regression. That's not succession, that's regression. And so, it really is hurting us, but we got time, fam. We got time until the playoffs begin. Huck Pority might steal some minutes in that scenario if they do go hacker Mitch. Campaign, I think he's a free agent right now still. Not looking for Campaign to come back. I'm good with Kolek right now. But I think Campaign was headed overseas last time I saw. New York City Grey says, personally, I'll take the damn cup if the Knicks can bring it home. Best believe that, Winners win, you want to build that habit, winning habit. It don't matter what competition. Last I checked, it's a legit competition that every team's competing for. If we're the ones with our name on the trophy and we're the ones lifting it up, that's only good things. Players earning bread, free agents looking at us. Only good things come from winning, fam. Right? Only losers moan about, not winning. Right now, our guys are playing like winners. That's all that counts, fam. We're knocking the East competition pin by pin in the bowling alley, fam. We're knocking them down, right? The Magic went down last game. The Raptors are down. We just got to face the Pistons. We knocked the Bucks down, and we get a chance to knock the Magic down again in front of Vegas, baby. So yeah, the funny thing is, as Michael Drake says, the Thunder, right? Wouldn't it be funny if the Thunder were to get through this NBA Cup out west? They've got the Suns, and then they'll meet the winner of Lakers Spurs, right? As I'm going to bring this up right now. We'll take a look around the league. But here we go. Tomorrow, just ignore the times, but obviously Thunder Suns tomorrow night. I think that's a 7:30 tip. And then we do have a later tip out west against the Lakers Spurs. I think that's what, an 11 p.m. tip with that one. But yeah, look, my pick is Thunder, and I think the Lake Show. What's your bet out west, fam? Obviously, Knicks all day. Knicks are going to get through. They'll beat Magic, and I think we'll meet the winner out of OKC and LA, and I think that's going to be fun. I think LA is really going to get after that one, fam. They're playing really well. Look, yeah, Mitch's minutes, that's something we're going to have to manage throughout the season, right? And I don't mind the tactic of, having Mitch off the bench, playing him, lighter minutes, because you see how fresh he is, how impactful he is, when he's able to come on. And he does change games, even if he's only playing 15, 20 minutes. He really does change the momentum like he did tonight. Like, how many times did he grab that offensive rebound, kick it out, and we got a 3 that broke the back of the Toronto Raptors, right? So here we are, fam, 8-2 over our last 10. on the 4-game winning streak. We are 13-7 in the conference, 13-1 at home, 4-6 on the road. Now 17-7, our best start to a season since 1992-93, fam. At home, definitely that's our best record. But I don't know if the 2013 season we started better than this, but it's going to be damn close if it's not. Still 2 games back of the Pistons, but that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing earlier in the season. Kevin McCullough is going to enjoy that extra 100K. Kolek, a news story came out that he bought his mum a new car after the 50 grand win in the the earlier round, getting through to the quarterfinal stage. Now that we've won the quarterfinal, he said he's going to take care of his pops. Maybe a new car coming for his pop. So look, Tyler Kolek, spreading the wealth around, right? He should be saving, for himself. But nice to hear him, be unselfish as well, and help his family out too. It must feel very, very rewarding for a young fella like that to pick up this bonus as well. Demario, salute Tony. What's good from Denver? Salute. Michael Drake, any special pods coming up with Bill Daughtry? Definitely coming up. Things coming up in the works right now. It's quite a busy time, obviously with the holiday period, and the Knicks are rolling. So, we'll look at things in the new year. Definitely, as we approach the trade deadline, there'll be plenty of talking points as well coming up. But let's end the year on a high note, man, and win this trophy, right? And then just regather and go for the rest of the season, man. Go for the big one, right? But we've got to win this one first, and I think that's what these guys really want to do, man. They're hype. You see what they're able to do. I think, look, the ball movement was excellent. Things that we could have done better. Look, I think tonight was one of our closest to perfect kind of victories in terms of wire to wire. As we have an update on the defensive player. Let's break this down right now. The Demon OG Anunoby gets the DPOG, right? The DPOG, and there he is, stone-faced assassin. I'm going to bring that up actually on the larger screen so we can see the full picture. Buzzer Beater says, when Deuce and Shamet get back, our bench will be strong. I think no doubt a guy like Shamet will probably take some minutes away from Clarkson a little bit. Josh Hart definitely deserves probably 25 plus right now. How many minutes do y'all think Josh Hart deserves? 30? I mean, earlier in the season, I was saying Hart shouldn't be playing more than 25, but the way he's shooting it, that's kind of changed my opinion, because Hart can do it all. He can definitely close it out now if he's knocking down those open shots, and he's not hesitating. So I tweeted this out during the game, but we've got to give the shooting coach a raise, right? We've got to give that shooting coach a raise because it's made a difference big time. Tony says, I do have concerns over the bench scoring. Besides Clarkson, though, no real production. I think Kolek got to stay aggressive. He can shoot the ball. But Yabusele just can't seem to get an easy look. It's either a corner three or that's it. And he ain't even really knocking them down, at a very good rate. As we roll Hart's highlights tonight, right? Look at this. Shooting form, looking real nice. Michael Drake, we're creeping up on that 2 seed. On the 1 seed from the 2 spot. Yep. I think, look, that's the goal. Get the number 1 seed, win the NBA Cup, win the division, win the conference, and then go for the big one. But Obviously, we're going to talk about Giannis now coming up, because it is looking like conversations with the Bucks, man, are really hitting their peak. And I do think that, the Bucks are going to trade Giannis, right? I do think they're probably not going to wait. If he doesn't go to the Knicks, it'll be a rental, but the Bucks will be looking to get cash in, I think, and get the best possible deal, right? So in the spotlight is still Leon Rose, and it's still Giannis Antetokounmpo, because we've heard today from Shams that the Atlanta Hawks, the Miami Heat, the Detroit Pistons, the Toronto Raptors are all going to be aggressive, right? And if we don't get him, he goes to another team out east. That's going to make them stronger, obviously, to state the obvious. But Leon Rose has got that decision to make, right? Does he take that gamble? And secondly, it might not be really in his hands. He could put together his best package, and we could talk about that all day long, whatever that package is. But if the Bucks don't want to accept that and they choose, a better package, that is, going to mean that the New York Knicks are going to have to sit tight, and rock out with the rest of this, with this squad for the rest of the season, and we'll see where it falls. But I wouldn't want Giannis to go to the Pistons, and they might not even really care about what Giannis says, because at the end of the day, Giannis still has his free agency, so it's not like they're really going to do him dirty, Like, if he had 3 years left on his deal, yeah, they're not going to send him to, like, no bottom feeder. But the fact that he's only got 1 year after this, if they get a package that they really, really like, whether it's Detroit, ATL, even if Giannis doesn't want to go there, I still think the Bucks would probably, send him, to that location. So I do think Leon Rose is going to put together a package. I do think we are going to go for it. And if we can get Giannis this season, we will. But if not, it's best for both parties. I think for the Bucks and the Knicks that, if they're going to send him to New York, that we wait, until the summer on draft night. But who knows what other teams are going to offer right now? What do y'all think about that? I do think that, obviously, yeah, the turnovers are something that we're going to have to clean up on, like Buzzer says, definitely. Great point. Chris Gotti says, why is Mitch never in these photos? Mitch probably out there getting treatment, fam. He likes to lay low in this one. Jose G says, Deuce might be out a few weeks with that higher ankle sprain. That's the rumor right now. Yeah, I can verify. Deuce is going to miss at least a couple of weeks, I think, at minimum. High ankle sprain, yeah, is a tough injury to get back from real soon. But look, we've got enough to hold it down, I think, with our guys. Clarkson, Kolek, next man up. Who knows if McCullough might get a shot. Diawara, Dardier. Now's the time to start playing some guys that might be potentially of interest in a trade. Other teams are going to want to see what these guys are capable of. Dardier, it's going to be tough to move him without playing him. But I think, yeah, if Deuce is going to miss a couple of weeks, I would suspect that Kolek's minutes will just go back up. Look, shout out to Huck Porty too. Got to feel sorry for him. He had a great game the other night. He's situational. He's ready and waiting for his opportunity too. I thought he was really gathering some good momentum, but Huck just can't really force his way into that rotation because it's crowded right now, guys. It is a crowded rotation. Now, give him Yabu's minutes. That's what I would do. Give him Yabusele's minutes. And I agree with Slow Runner. I think McCullough definitely deserves a shot sooner rather than later. I personally would want to see McCullough ahead of Diawara for now. I think Diawara has longer term upside defensively, but I do feel like McCullough is more polished on both sides. He's more of an offensive threat than Diawara is as well. And you saw tonight, McCullough took one shot from 3 and knocked it down, but he can also dribble and play make as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But look, what a shot from Bridges. Like, I think we're going to give some more shout out and praise to Mikal, because Mikal Bridges is having such a fine season, and he's doing it on both ends. 6 of 14, 3 of 8. Not the most efficient night, but he just continues to stuff the stat sheet with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Fam, he's unlucky not to get defensive player with the 2 steals and the block, but well deserved from OG. But plus 19, 15 points from Mr. 5 first round draft picks. Mikal Bridges has been one of the best players on the season so far, but him together with OG, and you always see Mikal next to the winner, so he's super into it as well. Look at McCullough, he looks jacked. McCullough looks jacked up in this one. Dermot Salute, Prezi the boss, says, I just want to trade Dardier to free up a spot, convert McCullough to the standard deal, and we can get Dink Pate on the 2-way. Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that, and I would love to see Dardier stick around, but I think there's some other guys that are ready and waiting. I even like the look of Tosan from what I've seen in the G League too. Dardier is just another one of those guys that's kind of, a couple of years too early, maybe wrong place at the wrong time. I do think Dardier is going to be an NBA player. Probably once he hits 21, 22, 23, you'll start to see real shine like Quentin Grimes. But I think Dardier being drafted at 18, he's 19 now. For the situation we're in, I think it's just kind of too early for him to make an impact on this squad right now. But look, it ain't our main priority. We're 17-7. This is our best shot at a title since 93, 94 season. We need to go for it, right? Worry about kind of the future a little bit later, because we need to break that drought. And I think it'll be a great story on the season, a great momentum building event to win this NBA Cup. Create history in a way. It will be the first time that we win something since our last title, right? As new as this thing is, we've been the most consistent team in this cup, fam. And we're building more rivalry against the Orlando Magic, fam. But look, I watched the one earlier today. They weren't special. They were gritty. They toughed it out. They outlasted the Heat, and the Heat went cold. But Orlando's offense ain't great without Franz Wagner. There was a lot of, sort of stop-start play. It was clunky in that one, right? But look, we know we're better than both those teams, whether it's Orlando, Miami. We'll give it our best shot. We'll take their best shot, and we'll keep it rolling, fam, in this one. Okay, we've got some nice graphics here as well. We're going to pull this up in a minute here from the locker room. Continue to stream and shout you guys out. Brunson with the funny quote with the post game. And Brunson says we're playing for more than just us as well. You got Bleacher Report trying to build up the Knicks Magic rivalry. We also had Brunson go back and forth with some fans in the Raptors building. Right, I'm going to bring that up now. That just fueled Brunson on, to be honest, right? You see JB talking back and forth with these guys. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. We can see JB go back and forth with the fan. Man, that was crazy. What are they thinking? Actually, yeah, here we go. I got it coming up now. Most of y'all would have seen this earlier. This is right before he went off. But yeah, JB looked definitely ticked off with that one in the crowd. Looks personal with that one. Definitely looked personal. Desmond Bain, look, he's been a great addition, but I'm not worried about him. I think he's a one-man wrecking crew. Paolo is a guy that's definitely needing to step it up. But look, our wing stop. I think we've got enough to slow him down. We are on a 58 win pace now. Buzzer. Yep. My prediction was 56, 55, 56. So feeling real good. Feeling real good about that prediction. Michael Drake says at first, CT, I was looking past the cup, but now let's win it all. Get that number 1 seed in the cup and the 2025-26 championship to go with. Yeah. Yeah, you already said it. You know, we can hang banners. We need to do it. Brunson on his favorite Vegas game says, I don't gamble. Probably shouldn't say anything about gambling. Yeah, nice one, man. Stay out of the news. Right. So we are 8-1 over our last 9. JB shooting us into Vegas, fam. But doesn't sound like he's going to be playing craps. Right. We don't play crap. Right. We come to win with this one. So yeah, the NBA has announced our New York Knicks advance to the semifinals in Vegas. We will face the Orlando Magic, and they're going to be hyped too. The stakes are higher, man. Every single round. This is 200 grand now, right? You get through to the final, you're guaranteed 200 grand, right? So for all of these guys, you heard Brunson. He said we're playing for not just only us, right? So yeah, he's ready to shoot us into the chip, the baby chip, we can call it. But look, back to a serious note. I think the difference between our Knicks as of tonight and last year's Knicks, look, Hart looks probably the best or equal best that he's ever played as a Knick. He's just doing it all, man. Taking it coast to coast, shooting it better. Turnovers are down. And hopefully that can continue. We need to see that in the playoffs, right? Hart, if you can just do that, knock it down, the open one, we're in a great situation, right? I'm soon going to shift my focus to the playoffs because as we get closer to that number 1 seed and we get more separation, what are we, 10 games over 500 now? It's inevitable that we're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to have a chance to go deep again, and we're going to be back here, man, and to do it all again at the business end of the season, man, come, late May and June, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen. But, right, we just got to stay healthy. We just got to keep it healthy, fam. And obviously continue to give some younger guys a chance. So when the time comes, they're more ready, to take those opportunities. But I think, look, Karl Anthony Towns is such a barometer for our squad, right? You saw 2 fouls, had to go to the bench. We looked like we were stuck in mud a little bit. What happens when he comes back in and Brunson comes in? We just put our foot on the gas. Man, we left them behind. Too. Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. Yeah, that's a real thing, fam. Yeah, if we're the number 1 seed, he'll be coaching the All-Star game. Let's not forget about that. Right, if we are the number 1 seed, Mike Brown will be the coach, I think, of one of the All-Star teams. We need to make the Magic disappear. I like that one too, Buzzer. How's Dink Pate's defense, assist to turnover ratio? It's still raw. He's kind of a little bit out of control, but he's just so athletic. He can do things that players that we don't have right now at 6'8". The way he could handle the basketball. Now he is shooting the ball really well. So that's been a real pleasant surprise so far from what I've seen with Dink Pate. Fam. This was a great steal. This broke the backs of the Raptors, fam. Once you see OG out in that open break, man, look out below. Right, look out below. For the grades, man, JB will get the savage. He was a savage tonight. It was a special performance, especially in that second quarter. I'm going to give Kat and Josh Hart a slick performance. And Macau, OG, Clarkson, Mitch were solid. And Yabusele and Kolek were a little bit silent and sloppy at different times of the night. But look, the most thing is that, 6 players in double digits. And we're definitely on our way with one of the best offenses in the league. And one of the best offenses in the league, and our defense now above league average. Right. Keeping these opponents down too. Look, if Mitch needs to miss time or Cat's in foul trouble, the fact that Huck Porty is a guy that looks, truly capable and confident to come in and impact the game, I think that's a real developing story in the season as well. Despite not getting minutes tonight, Huck Porty had his best game in the last one. So we just continue to go from strength to strength now. But we've got to keep a lid on it, because at 10 games over 500, you could lose 3 in a row. You could be back down with the pack, and we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. We want to continue this momentum, get to 15 games over 500. So let me pull up the schedule right now, and we can now confirm on Saturday, 5:30 p.m., our Knicks will be in the semi-finals in Vegas, and the championship game is on Tuesday, the 16th as well. So really nice scheduling actually by the NBA. It gives the winning semi-finalists the Sunday and the Monday 2 days break to build the hype as well. And then the day after the championship is a day off as well, where maybe they'll be nursing a hangover from partying in Vegas, hopefully ending a drought and winning, a major tournament, right? But then it's straight back into it. Indiana, Philadelphia, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, ATL. Look at that, man. We're stepping straight into a storm right after the chip. Indiana actually struggling. That should be an easy win. Philadelphia, we should be able to win as well. But I think the Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, ATL, that's going to be a tough week, commencing the 21st, including the Christmas Day matchup, marquee matchup against the Cavs, right? And then we're on the road. ATL, Pels, Spurs. Before we ring in the new year, too. Michael says, CT, we've got to try to stay healthy. Yeah, look, so far the coaching staff doing a great job, I think, with the minutes. Casey Smith as well. Some of the injuries with Deuce and with OG and that, they're just, unavoidable injuries. Desmond Bain falling onto Deuce as well. So we can't really do too much about that. But what they are doing with Mitchie, I think, is key. Mitchie only played 15 tonight, and he was so impactful, with 4 offensive rebounds in 15 minutes. Picked up 5 fouls, 4 assists, though, from Mitch. That's huge. 4 assists from your big man. That's just from the rebounding, kicking it back out. But the 2 of 8, man, from the free throw line is something that's hopefully not going to bite us later in the season. Mike Brown got to make some key decisions, I think, to get him out. We don't get a serious challenge until Detroit. Buzzerbeater says, yeah, I think that's going to be the huge matchup. I think that the NBA is going to build up if we are obviously going to be 1 and 2 by the time that comes around. Yeah, right now we're going at 100 miles, man. We're really clicking. I think we're moving into 5th gear right now, and we're ready. We're ready for that 200, 500 grand. Keep it rolling, right? We have a chance to go 18 and 7, right? Even if you don't care about the cup, the semi-final still counts for the regular season. Let's go 18-7 and beat the Magic again, right? That'd be big time, especially for the confidence and the season series as well, right? These things count. It could be a season series thing now. I think, what are we against Orlando? We are 2-1. I think Orlando beat us twice. We've beaten Orlando once. So we've got to get after that one, and hopefully win some more season series against these guys, right? So we're getting ready to wrap this thing up, man. Knicks rolling into Vegas for the first time. We're making history, ladies and gentlemen, now. 10 games above 500, 8-1 in the last 9. And let's break it all down in the next one as we face Orlando on Saturday too. We'll definitely do a live stream before that, and we'll preview and break down the matchup, right? As we have a couple of days off now. But the Knicks will head straight to Vegas, apparently, from Toronto, right? So, great night overall, fam. Appreciate y'all coming through as we close up on the poll. The most impressive thing tonight was Hart's shooting, right, at 47%. JB going nuclear at 27%. Cats D at 16%, and Block Party at 10% as well. We had 50 votes on that one. So let's go, Knicks. We here. Let's go. Let's win. Peace, everyone. Stay blessed.